everyone, I'm Sarah of Rich Textures Crochet and welcome. Today we're going to learn how to crochet the Sable Stitch crochet pattern. I love this stitch. It's quite subtle, lots of drape to it. It kind of reminds me a little bit of a sandy beach. So today we're going to learn how to crochet this stitch. For our tutorial I'm going to be using a little bit of a worsted medium weight yarn. This is the Pima Cotton by Lion brand, and as well a 5mm or an H8 crochet hook, and this is a clover crochet hook. I'll put links to these items in the description of this video. Also down in the description you'll find a direct link to the free written instructions, which are on richtexturescrochet.com. So thank you so much for joining me. While you're here, I invite you to subscribe, take a look around, and say hello down in the comments. Let me know how you would use this stitch in an upcoming crochet project. Let's grab our hooks and yarn and get started. Now our stitch today is worked in rows, so you're going to start by making a slip knot. You're then going to work a foundation chain, and your foundation chain today can be any number of stitches. Today I'm going to chain 21. You're then going to begin row 1 by skipping the first 3 chains, and into your 4th chain you're going to work a herringbone half double crochet. To work your herringbone half double crochet, yarn over, insert your hook into that 4th stitch, yarn over, draw up a loop, and then draw that loop through the first loop on your hook. You'll have 2 loops remaining on your hook. Yarn over and pull through 2 loops. You're going to repeat that all the way across. Yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, draw up a loop, and then draw that loop through the first loop on your hook. 2 loops remaining, yarn over, and pull through 2 loops. You're going to repeat this all the way across. At the end of row 1, you're going to chain 1 and turn your work. We're now going to work some slip stitches and chain stitches all the way across. You'll begin by working a slip stitch into the first stitch and then chain 1. Slip stitch into the next stitch and chain 1. Repeat that all the way across. Slip stitch, chain 1, slip stitch, chain 1, all the way across to your final stitch. When you come all the way across, work your final slip stitch into the top of your turning chain, chain 2, and turn your work. Now for row 3. We're going to skip the first stitch at the base of our turning chain, skip the chain 1 space, and work your herringbone half double crochet into the back loop only of the next slip stitch. So under that back loop only, and to find your back loop, when you're looking at the top of your stitch, you have a loop that's closest to you, that's your front. You have a loop that is in behind, that is your back loop. So you're going to insert your hook into that stitch only, and complete the herringbone half double. You're then going to skip the next chain stitch and again into the back loop only of the next slip stitch, work your herringbone half double crochet. You're going to repeat this all the way across, skip the next chain stitch, herringbone half double into your next, all the way across to your final slip stitch. So I'm all the way across, working, skipping the next chain, working my final herringbone half double into the back loop only of that final stitch, chain 1 and turn your work. Now for the rest of the pattern, you're simply going to repeat your rows 2 and 3. So your row 2 was the slip stitch in the first stitch, chain 1, slip stitch in the next stitch, chain 1, all the way across, and then your herringbone half double crochet into the back loop only of each slip stitch all the way across. Repeat that for your pattern, then fasten off, weave in your ends, and that is how you work your sable stitch. So thank you so much for joining me. Once again, I invite you to subscribe. Take a look around. If you happen to make something with this stitch, be sure to tag Rich Textures Crochet. I always love to come by and admire your work. Until next time, happy crocheting. Bye.